Guangzhou, China, Tzu Chi volunteers have delivered rice and daily supplies to 155 impoverished families. In Miaoli, Tzu Chi volunteers help a recipient with mobility issues clean up his home. Selamat datang ke DaAi Headlines, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. In Guangzhou, China, Tzu Chi volunteers are delivering love in the winter. When Tzu Chi volunteers were purchasing rice, the rice factory owner decided to give them a discount so he can do good deeds as well.
As the rice milling machine keeps working, one can smell the fragrance of rice in the air.
Look at the rice. It is better than the sample we gave you.
The rice factory owner is working with Tzu Chi to produce rice at a discounted price.
To be honest, we businessmen are usually thinking of ways to reap more profits and earn more money. After coming in contact with your charity organization, I feel that I should help the needy with my abilities.
Carrying the rice on their shoulders and taking daily supplies, 144 volunteers deliver the supplies to people's houses.
This is multigrain powder. Diabetes patients can also drink it as it is not sweet. One can drink it as breakfast. It's very healthy.
Dagang town villagers make a living by farming. Receiving the gifts at the end of the year, they're smiling with joy.
Although the residents here might need help in terms of getting material goods, they are very happy.
The phrase I hear the most often is, "Wow, so many supplies. You're too kind. You're so nice to us."
This is the first time Tzu Chi is holding a distribution in Dagang town. The footprints of love are over the place, and the residents are impressed.
In Taipei City, Tzu Chi volunteers from Bade District made 22,000 red envelopes of blessing and wisdom, which will be distributed in Taiwan and abroad.
Volunteers are busy making the red envelopes of blessings and wisdom. In this pandemic year, this blessing is particularly meaningful.
This year, because of the pandemic, many people lost their family members. We can come here to help, meaning that we're still safe and healthy. We can give of ourselves and also bless those receiving the red envelopes be safe and healthy.
Every volunteer is making the envelope mindfully, which is equivalent to the grants in the red envelope, symbolizing full and humble.
This is a blessing at the end of the year. I hope those receiving this red envelope can be healthy and happy.
We need to make a total of 22,000 red envelopes to be distributed domestically and overseas. We must do it slowly and steadily. We would rather do it for a few more days to make the best products, but not to rush and make things worse.
With meticulous work, the unique red envelope will build a good affinity with all Tzu Chi volunteers around the world.
The year is about to end, and many places have held the year-end blessing ceremony. Today, we take a look at the ceremonies in Changhua and Nantou.
Although it's cold, people at the year-end blessing event felt the warmth from volunteers.
Adhering to my faith, as long as I can make it here, I will make it.
Miss Chen is a Tzu Chi care recipient. She suffered from an injury due to a car accident and currently has mobility issues, but this doesn't stop her from attending the event.
Without the help from Tzu Chi brothers and sisters in our daily lives, we really don't know what to do.
At the Changhua Jing Si Hall, 5 year-end blessing events were held over the course of 2 days, with almost 3,000 people attending.
I hope that my children may not go on the wrong path, so when I take them here for class, I learn a lot too.
With a heart of gratefulness, kindness is brought upon one. At the Nantou Caotun Liaison office, people came in to do good deeds.
Dharma Master will normally collect bags of PET bottle caps like this.
Every material here is collected during recycling, giving materials a second chance. Members from the Heartlight organization brought bamboo coin banks, donating for a good cause. Furthermore, vegetarianism is promoted to the Ministry of Immigration's Nantou shelter.
Vegetarianism changes our mentality a lot. Actually, every life should be respected and cherished.
As the year in blessing comes to an end, everyone at the venue hope for a better and peaceful year.
In Taiwan, before the college entrance examination, the principal, teachers, and parents of the Tzu Chi University-affiliated high school gathered together to bless every student. Take a look.
Tying the winning red ribbon, the students are getting ready for the upcoming college entrance examination, which is taking place in a month's time. The student swore an oath for his dream and shouted out the ideal school in his heart, getting confidence as he spoke aloud.
I want to be admitted to the Chinese Literature Department of Guangzhou University. My class teacher aroused my love for Chinese language.
I wanted to be admitted to the Communication Department of Tzu Chi University. I have been gaining interest in since I was a child.
The principal also gave encouragement and blessings to the students.
You must make good vows. Maybe you can't determine which department you want to pursue, but you should have a desire of which university you want to go to. Every step you take, every choice you make, every vow and every dream. I hope you won't give up on yourself before the exam.
It is hoped that every candidate can be admitted to their ideal university, striving their best to go for their goals.
In Kaohsiung's year-end blessing ceremony, Tzu Chi volunteers shared their stories on promoting vegetarianism during the pandemic and also making protective face shields during SARS and COVID. Take a look at their stories.
To promote vegetarianism during the pandemic, city volunteer Li Boxi started selling vegetarian food at a corridor outside his family's hostel. He also invited the local community residents to join in on a vegetarian dumpling making contest, while also promoting vegetarianism to the nearby companies and schools.
Due to the pandemic prevention measures, they are unable to enter the hotel. Therefore, we brought the vegetarian foods to the corridor. The master said that only by adopting a vegetarian diet can we cope with the pandemic.
By eating a vegetarian diet, we're able to reduce carbon emission and protect the environment. The master has always told us to become a vegetarian.
17 years ago, during the outbreak of SARS, city volunteer Liu Guoxiong and his wife has already volunteered to make face shields. This time, both of them have also dedicated themselves in making pandemic prevention equipment.
We have thought of ways to improve the face shields, increasing its size and width, and also its durability. We use the softest sponge possible so that when they put on the face shields, it'll be comfortable.
To serve without asking anything in return, that's why when we're doing it, we feel very happy. We've made a total of 70,000 face shields this time.
Although the face shields are able to block the virus, but it is unable to block the volunteers' warmest care. Whether it's promoting vegetarianism or making protective equipment, volunteers are always first to arrive and doing it till the end.
In Kaohsiung's Niaosong district, senior recycling volunteers brought their families to visit Jing Si Hall so that they can learn about the concept of sustainable recycling.
There are environmental protection experience games and Monopoly for the children to play. They hid all the plastic bags so that they would not flow into the sea. In the Recycling Education Center, children can learn the concept of environmental protection with a series of interactive games. The Earth is facing global warming, while the ocean is facing a garbage crisis. People of different ages can learn lessons from natural disasters. They want to know what they can do for the Earth.
During the 9/21 earthquake, I was quite impressed by Tzu Chi. There was very little contact between Catholicism and Buddhism before. Buddhism does not emphasize on how much we have learned in theory, but on how much we have served society. Tzu Chi is the most direct in this aspect. Many people can feel it.
The Recycling Education Center is the first in the country with educational significance.
The senior recycling volunteers in Niaosong District, Kaohsiung, brought their grandchildren to visit Jing Si Hall so that they can gain a deep understanding on how to build a zero-waste world from recycling PET bottles, achieving a sustainable management of resources in the earth.
In Miaoli, a Tzu Chi recipient, Mr. Wu, has mobility issues and was unable to clean up his home. Tzu Chi volunteers head over to help him clean up and provide care for this family. Here's more. In front of the yard and in the living room, there are piles of unwanted items. As we look upwards, the ceiling is full of cobwebs. As volunteers arrive at this house, they started cleaning from the kitchen at the back.
Look at the storage area. There's cockroaches and rubbish. If we clear out this area first, if we have people cleaning both inside and outside, it would be easier and faster.
Volunteers worked together and cleared up piles and piles of unwanted items from the house. Next, they head over to the bedroom and notice that the bed has already collapsed.
There's rats running around everywhere in the house. It's very dangerous. It'll collapse any time.
The owner, Mr. Wu, suffers from a leg injury for many years, causing him to have mobility issues. Both his son and wife are mentally disabled, making it impossible for them to clean their house.
I can only walk for a while, and it will start hurting. Now I can't really move around.
Over 30 volunteers from Bade District head over early in the morning with cleaning equipment, working together and help this family clean up their living environment.
They are a disabled family and they are unable to head out, so we, as Tzu Chi volunteers, must head in and help them.
Although this family was very helpless in the beginning, the volunteers have brought hope into their lives, hoping that this family can live a better life. In Malaysia, Tzu Chi recipient Soma is unable to stand due to an accident 24 years ago. Tzu Chi volunteers have accompanied him and provided financial assistance.
Soma is unable to stand due to an accident that happened 24 years ago. Back then, he was just a teenager and had the thought of giving up his life.
Back then, I kept on crying because I didn't know what to do. Many people encouraged me, but I could not accept anything they said. Slowly, I realized that this is my life. I had to accept this fate.
All the siblings would take care of him. Originally, he could walk around, but suddenly, he is just only able to sit at a fixed spot. His emotions would definitely be affected. Slowly, his thoughts and attitude has changed and even became a pillar of support of our family.
Soma, who's 47 years old this year, no longer complains about life and has turned into a positive and optimistic person. 4 years ago, Soma became a Tzu Chi recipient. After interacting with the volunteers for a long time, they have formed a bond as if they're one big family.
Although our skin colors are different, but the color of our blood is the same. Volunteers will always care about my situation. When I have bed sores, they would also care for me. I have nothing to complain anymore. When volunteers come to visit, we can always chat and I'm very happy. I once had an operation and he cared a lot about my situation. He kept on calling me, asking how did the operation went? Was it successful? I was really touched.
Medical supplies are the biggest financial burden for Soma. Volunteers head over to the pharmacy to purchase the supplies at a discounted price, hoping to reduce his financial burden.
I'll send a text message to the volunteers. When they head over to the pharmacy, they will call and ask how much I need. Previously, if I head out by myself, I would need to spend more than 500 ringgits. Now with the help of volunteers, the monthly cost is about 200 ringgits. What he needs most is this cotton. We also help him buy gloves and the urinary tube. At most, he'll have to purchase these supplies 3 times a month. As long as we're able to afford, we'll definitely help him.
Volunteers have become Soma's greatest support. They have also instilled warmth and optimism in his life, hoping for a better tomorrow.
In Indonesia, Tzu Chi has hosted many eye clinics to help patients with their vision problems. Among those who they have helped is Maya, who suffered cataract since 2016. Let's take a look at her story.
A beautiful pair of eyes, but she can only see out of one eye. In 2016, 10-year-old Maya was visually impaired.
Those 2 years were really difficult. I almost gave up. Thank Allah that we were able to connect with Tzu Chi. It was really a miracle.
She suffered from cataracts for 2 years before surgery, and it hindered her learning. 4 years post-surgery, Maya is confident and doing well in school.
I'm so glad I'm able to see with my right eye now. Thank you, Tzu Chi Foundation, for treating my eye.
Alhamdulillah dari orang tuanya sebelum dioperasi si anak ini dengan keadaan matanya.
Thanks Allah, according to her father, before the surgery she was about 10th in class, but after surgery her ranking improved.
Nah, tadi kita ngobrol sama orang tuanya setelah dioperasi, ternyata anak ini prestasinya lebih meningkat.
The eye clinic continues to help all eye patients in need.
In Taiwan, Taipei City Hospital's Hospice Ward invited the families of the deceased patients for a gathering, with some coming back to thank the medical staff.
Miss Young's mother has passed away in a palliative ward this year. The 5 sisters have come to thank the medical team for their companionship.
Most importantly, we want to thank the medical staff and doctors for alleviating my mother's pain and easing the family's anxious minds. That is the reason we have come to express our gratitude.
Miss Liao, whose husband has passed away because of heart problem, has gradually overcome her suffering with everyone's support.
They help the families to turn sorrow and sadness into strength to stay strong.
The staff of palliative ward not only cares for patients, it also helps their families live a good life.
Do they live well after going back? Did they overcome their sadness? In fact, we hold a gathering every year so everyone can get together and we can see how the family is doing. We can understand how sad the family members are. After losing their loved ones, they must suffer tremendously. I hope they can feel better through attending the activity.
The medical staff has invited aromatherapists to make fragrance to help the family members relax. They also encourage the family to express their love in words. The medical staff not only cares for the patients, they're also concerned about the family.
To encourage young people to practice their ideals, Tzu Chi Foundation has launched a youth charity practical project for the 3rd year, with 13 youth charity teams publishing their results.
To encourage the youth to innovate and devote themselves to charity, Tzu Chi Foundation launched the Youth Charity Practical Project for the 3rd year. There were 13 teams participated in the Social Innovation Fun Talk series.
In this Tzu Chi project, what is important is not to provide people with short-term assistance, but to help people go further to practice kindness in their hearts in the long run. It is a cultivation of power.
25-year-old Lin Yijia, with a double master's degree from Tsinghua University, and Xu Rouren, who also graduated from Tsinghua University, set up Yuanpei Farm, which is dedicated to improving the quality and yield of agricultural products in a friendly agricultural manner.
We have put 2 metric tons of carbonized rice husk on the field we tested, which is equivalent to making 29 metric tons of rice husk to become a useful carbonized material, so as to help improve the field environment. This approach actually gained good response from the locals. After getting the locals' agreement, this project is able to continue in the long run.
This activity can allow many young people to find problems in their place and to think of a way to solve the problems and execute it. For the people who come to visit, they are able to know that many problems are happening in this society, and there is actually a group of people working on solving the problems.
Young people have unlimited potential. Utilizing their own professions to make their dreams become practical, enlarging their horizons to build a better society.
In our feature report, we take a look at the story of Xu Jiacheng, who went to jail at the age of 29, but was able to get his life back to track with the support of his family members and also taking over his family's puppet show.
感谢您的相助啦，行，出发。我有另外一种身份比较较无同，我有一种身份比较，我是更生人。
It takes great courage to confess the past.
I have to borrow money from my boss to find drugs. When I think back upon this, I feel quite sad about this period of my life.
He was addicted to drugs during high school. It was not easy for him to get rid of drugs.
There's a temptation to grab you, this magic hand. It grabs you and you can't turn away.
When they knew that he was going to be released from prison, a large group of his drug addict friends came out to see him. Then he became a group with his drug addicts again.
Again and again and again. I went to the prison detention center for the third time. I feel sad and cry when I think about it. I shed tears whenever I think about it, but I will not give up on him. I will always encourage him.
Maternal love eventually made this prodigal son turn his life around. Tzu Chi, after being released from prison, finally took over the family's puppet show. Perhaps it was because he was exposed to puppet theater as a child, as he learned quickly, began to be invited to perform in various places, but there was still something that made his life quite special.
He didn't change. He is still handsome.
The difference in age between the two is 15 years. This love starts at the age of 9, and they met again 10 years later. He had just come out of prison that year, but there was initially some reluctance.
When we were together, we got a lot of strange looks. At that time, their family was very opposed to me as I found myself crying in the middle of the night.
She had the courage to marry someone who just got out of jail. Everyone is afraid of people who have just been released from prison.
Love requires courage and it must be backed up by action.
There's no way he thought that I could go puppet theater, so I just had to go in and show him.
Now she assists her husband and there's a tacit understanding between them, which can be conveyed with just one look.
It's very hard to do this, but I see my children and my husband play together. That smile is my motivation.
I have to thank my wife. Thank you.
Everyone has a past, but the most important thing is the future. As long as we are a family, I think everything is fine.
Two years ago, he returned to the familiar confines of the Yunlin's second prison, but his identity was different this time.
I hope that one day I can be like him and work legitimately in a career for his family. This makes me very envious.
Tzu Chi, who was once lost in the sea of drugs, was fortunate to clutch a lifeline, which came in form of love and family.
In Taichung, at the annual winter solstice event held in Kaohsiung Township, medical personnel from Guangzhou Tzu Chi Hospital were invited to carry out medical checkups on seniors. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.